Sajani Prashanth is a mother of a 2-year-old. She is a software engineer by profession and a parenting educator by passion. She is certified in child physiology, pursuing diploma in Montessori, and is a storytelling podcaster. She owns a small business named Whole Brain India, through which education materials are being sold. I welcome her wholeheartedly on behalf of Mindful Motherhood.
First of all, I would like to thank all of you and Vidya for having me here. I'm truly privileged to be part of this event today. That's the beauty of the entire parenting community, isn't it? We all are working towards the same goal, profoundly without any prejudice, right? So straight into topic, we all try to teach our children about unseen dinosaurs. Yeah, I'm talking about the younger children. And we read books about monsters and fairy tales, which doesn't even exist. Yeah. So can we be a little more mindful about connecting our children to human culture? Say before in olden days, not too old where the Gurukula system existed, but later part of it, children were sent to school after 6 years before this kindergarten and all of this came. Yeah. Why is it so? Because nobody knew what to teach children below 6 years, 0 to 6 years. But we need to remember that between 0 to 6 years is where a child's brain is developing. That is where a child's speech is developing, cognitive skills, fine motor skills, gross motor skills. So all of these is developing between 0 to 6. And people are thinking that they're not giving much of importance to a child between 0 to 6. Now, whatever a child learns between 0 to 6 years is what a human being, later he becomes as a man or in later part of his life. But we are tending to ignore that precious part of that childhood. Say, for example, how is a child walking or able to talk? A child usually, as soon as a child is born, he is seeing everything around him. People are walking with their legs. Parents are talking. So that is where he's trying to pick up each and every skills from the immediate environment. Now, suppose you are not introducing any books to a child until 6 years. Okay. And what if you're expecting a 6-year-old, again, you tell that, okay, now you're ready to go to school, open your books and read. Will the child be able to get interest in that particular area? Do we think so? Not really, isn't it? But when you introduce a book to a child right from birth, I'm saying it again, right from birth. Yes. Start reading books right from the birth. You get a lot of board books, visual stimulation books are there. Not about those big and huge novels, but just with some illustrations and a little bit of 1 or 2 words book. So when you introduce books for a child from the early childhood itself, child will grasp that and fall in love with books. And that's a beauty, not only the books, each and everything. So whatever you want your child to pick up in the later stage, introduce that during 0 to 6. Don't underestimate that age or take it for granted. So having said that, I was talking about these dinosaurs or monsters and fairy tales. And so as Sir said, whenever we teach a child about this twinkle, twinkle, little star, I feel so great about it. Yeah. But when we mindfully introduce, Vidya has taken a powerful step of creating this or introducing this SHLOKA book. And this is one of the prominent work. I consider this as a prominent work here. So there is so much in this SHLOKA book. So when you just tell your children, come on, let's chant SHLOKA today, and you recite some SHLOKA, how far will that child be able to grasp it? Maybe he might miss some of the accent or some of the words in that, or he might lose interest in a while. But when you introduce these kind of concept through books, especially for a child, younger child, through board books, the child, at least to the illustrations, he will fall in love with that book. I see that in my own house. I have a 2-year-old child. He just knew Vakratunda Mahakaya only that shloka before. But I got this book a week back, and now he knows like 4 shlokas out of it. And yesterday we had been to Hornadu Annapurneshwari temple, and he was like, Amma, I want to see Annapurne Sadapurne. So he had already picked up, that he was asking us, Amma, where is Annapurne? So that's the beauty of this book. He has already like started to chant around 4 to 5 shlokas from this. So that's the beauty of board books. I always, keep talking to Vidya about this. We must bring more and more such topics in terms of book and introduced it to our children, which is very close to our culture. I mean, I'm not talking about the religious aspect about, there is nothing religious about this book, that I can clearly tell that, because in ancient days, these shlokas were chanted to calm the mind and our soul. And sir has beautifully told the importance of shlokas, how your every speech and your speech becomes so clear when you chant these shlokas. Yeah. And so I already told about, just when you tell your children, let's chant shloka, they would not be able to get it so easily. But through these books, and when they see those illustrations, they fall in love with this. So let's be more mindful. I'm hoping to, get these kind of books in other regional languages also. I also spoke to Vidya about this. Please come up with, at least in Kannada, we don't have much books in our regional languages, especially these board books and all of it. So when we introduce this, it will be of great value that we are going to give for our younger children. Today's children are tomorrow's generation, future generation, right? They are going to lead this world. So we want to leave a beautiful space for them, provide all the skills that is necessary for them, and they could take over this generation forward beautifully. And finally, I would like to thank you, Vidya, for coming up. And on behalf of all the parenting community here, I would like to thank you for coming up with such a beautiful concept, and all the best to you. Thank you for providing me this platform. Thank you, Anish.